Hi, my name is Samantha Drescher, but I go by Sam. So I have always had music in my life, but about 4 years ago was when I really found my passion for it, and that's when I discovered that I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be a performer. So I started looking into alternate options because I knew that I wanted to advance my studies after high school since I don't have a lot of opportunities in the town that I'm in, but I'll get into that later. So I found your school when I was looking up modern music programs because I knew that I wanted to study modern as much as I respect classical because I actually was classically trained for not singing but for all my background technique knowledge and everything, and that's where I got my theory from. I just knew that I wanted to further my studies in modern music because that's actually what I wanted to do. And through that I found your school and I fell in love with the opportunities and experiences that I kind of imagined with the programs and the descriptions and just the overall experience, and not just learning how to sing and music but also learning about the industry and what to do with this career path after I graduate, which ultimately I want to be a singer. I want to be a pop artist, and your program looks like it can really help me build the path for that, and that's what I really loved about it. So for music, I mainly listen to pop music. That's what I really found a love for, but I did grow up listening to a lot of country, so I still go to that, and depending on my mood I go anywhere from classical, I'll put on some rock, I'll put on some jazz, but I do mainly stick to the big pop names: Shawn Mendes, Taylor Swift, Demi Lovato. If I'm going more for a sadder mood, I'll go Shawn Mendes, Sam Smith, Callum Scott. Louis Capaldi is really good these days. I really do like his album. Adele is another good one. And these are the artists that I actually really look up to because they're fighting every day to keep their career alive. I know exactly how hard it is, not because I've been in their shoes, but because I can just see how hard it is to get into the industry, and they're fighting to stay at the top. They're fighting to keep doing what they love, and I really look up to that, and that's what I aspire to be. So about my challenges and my path so far in music. So because I'm from a really small town, I don't have a lot of opportunities, especially when it comes to modern music. So I am in music and I've been taking it all 4 years, and I'm in band. I was in senior and junior in grade 10, and ever since I've been in senior band. And so I take all the opportunities. It teaches me theory, it's still getting me into music, and I do really enjoy. I've made friends through it. It's just a fun time overall. But that's kind of all that we have here. We have a choir, but we don't really do modern stuff either. So the challenge is actually getting a modern music program that I don't get here and getting that experience. So I actually have 2 vocal teachers, but none of them are in my town. I drive 20 minutes for one and an hour for another one. And that's just to get that experience. I'm practicing daily, not because I have to. I mean, I do have to, but it's because it's what I love to do and it's what I want to do. So I'm always practicing, and I do make those drives. And that's the challenges I've overcome, is just the opportunities in such a small town are so limited that I have to make my own, and I've done that. But I also do take the opportunities in all the big cities. I'll go to small ones here in town because there are some. I go to the hospital, I go to nursing homes just to volunteer, and I do solos at the concert at school, but I don't have any big ones. So I go to cities like Toronto, I've gone to Detroit, and I do the big singing competitions like AGT, or America's Got Talent as it's more known as. The Shot is a really big talent singing competition here in Canada. This past November I've actually gone to Sweden and done an international singing competition, and then I just do some other talent competitions here in some bigger cities, not as big as Toronto, but some in like Brantford, if you know where that is, and London, just some bigger cities, and getting all that experience because it's where I love to be, ultimately. That's the word I couldn't say. So I obviously do it because it's what I love. I'm working towards the dream. I'm actively working towards it because I'm not just gonna sit here and pretend like it's gonna happen. I know that it's gonna take a lot of work, and so I'm working towards it. So the two songs that I've actually sent in to you are I Can't Help Falling in Love with You, which is a classic by Elvis Presley. It's actually been redone by a female artist and kind of made a bit easier for a higher range. And then I also did You Give Love a Bad Name by Bon Jovi. So I would have loved to give an original song, especially because songwriting is a part of this program. But sadly, I have a really big case of the writer's block, and my older stuff I'm not 100% comfortable with because it's either the lyrics are really weird and hard to understand, or the melody is just kind of off in one spot. And so as much as I would love to share those with you, I am working on trying to get past this writer's block and just creating a big image that I can continue, and so that will all get started up soon, and hopefully, and maybe by the time I get in, I can show those and share them with you. But for the two songs that I did choose, the very first one that I'm going to be talking about, Elvis Presley, I Can't Help Falling in Love, I didn't change very much. I changed the key to make it more comfortable for me. I added a few little technique things like some riffs or little trills here and there, and I did add a little bit of harmony, but other than that, it was very slight changes. The big changes were coming from Bon Jovi's You Give Love a Bad Name. I really changed that one up. It was dramatically changed, and it's a give or take. You either really like it or you're like, no, the original is the way to go. But I personally really liked the way that I did it. So it's a very well-known song. You can go up and sing it, and almost everyone will know what it is. But I took this upbeat, really well-known song and I slowed it down and gave it a completely different meaning to it almost. So I changed the key once again, just that was more of a comfort thing, but it also did help because I made it into a minor key, and it really did help a lot when it came to the mood. And the range is actually really small for this song. It's very comfortable for me, so it's only about a B3 to a G4. So very small range, but throughout this song there's not a lot of movement in a way. You stick a lot on one note. It's just the rhythms that are changing, and then you do like a whole step, sometimes a half step. It's very small range, which really helped me. So I took this song, and what we all know is shot through the heart and you're to blame. You give love a bad name. So I took what's very accented and staccatoed, and I actually turned it into a slow legato for the most part, but then at the end for Bad Name on You Give Love a Bad Name, I actually made it a bit bouncier and staccato like, just to keep it moving. So I went from that upbeat to something slower, like shot through the heart and you're to blame. You give love a bad name, and just kept it going like that. A lot of slowed down action, but then you just add a little bit of bounce, staccato here and there, just to get the ball rolling. You gotta keep it interesting, or else people will just get bored after hearing it. Probably they'll get to about the chorus, partway through the chorus, and they're like, this is boring, next song. And that's not what you want. You want to keep them engaged. So I did slow it down, but I did have those parts in it just to make it interesting. So I took the fun, upbeat, well-known song that Bon Jovi did, which is still very well done, and I just put my own spin on it and made the cover slow, minor, and haunting in a way. just to give the words a completely different meaning. So I hope that this answers all the questions that you had. If not, I am more than willing to answer any more. And I really do look forward to hearing from you and hopefully studying with you next year. Bye.